Welcome back to another episode of SNK vs. Capcom Card Fighters DS Deck Tech, the long-awaited Episode 2. I know everyone out there has been waiting with bated breath since May of 2019 to see what other decks are out there. Well, we're gonna go over another one of my favorite decks in this game. This one I call Big Red, because we only use red cards, and we use giant characters with very high battle power, and we get them out early and smash face with them. So this is going to be a much different style of play than the combo deck I went over in the first episode. This is going to be, the path to victory is going to be a little bit more normal, just playing guys and attacking with them, although almost as unfair as the first deck. We're going to be generating a large amount of force early in the game, depending on if we get the right cards in our opening hand, and just playing giant red creatures and taking off huge chunks of the opponent's damage very early in the game. So let's get into the card list here. First, I'm playing a couple copies of Asura. This card, I was kind of on the fence about it. This is one of the cards that you could replace with something else. This is one of the ones that really comes down to personal preference. I like Asura because it's a 7 battle power character for only 4, which is decent. And Asura has a very good ability in that it deals 200 points of damage to all of your opponent's characters, but you can only activate it if they have 3 or more. Next, we have a couple copies of Haohmaru. I think I'm saying that right. It costs 8, so we're only playing 2 of them because we don't want to draw too many. It's the strongest character in the game at 1500 battle power and HP, but there is a downside. Whenever he attacks, you have to KO him at the end of the turn. There is a way to get around that though, and if you use him with a combination attack or fusion attack, then this ability does not trigger. Next, we're using Khushnood Butt. Just a solid character, unblockable as long as you have no cards in your hand. And this is the best card in the deck. It is a C rarity SNK card Mudman. Cost 3, it's only a 300-400, but if you pay 2 extra red, he gives you 10 red force icons if your force has run out. So if you get him in your opening hand, you can discard 2 red cards, use the 3 colorless force to play him, and then use the 2 red force that you just got to activate his ability, get 10 red force on the first turn, and play some giant characters. This guy is bonkers. So he is definitely a must-have in this deck. We're playing a couple copies of Orochi Iori. So this is another kind of optional character. I like him because we're playing lots of large characters in this deck, and he has an optional ability when he enters the field that gives 500 damage to all character cards, which is likely to destroy more of your opponent's characters than your own. Next up, one of the best characters in the game, Oswald, 800 battle power for 4. Whenever he KOs another character, you draw 3 cards. With 800 battle power, he's likely to KO anything he fights against. We're doing 4 copies of Ralf, who increases one of your characters and one of your opposing characters' BP by 300, but we can take advantage of increasing your opposing character's battle power with another card we'll go over later. And he's just, a solid 400 battle power guy for only 2 generic. We're playing 1 copy of Shinnosuke Kagami. This is another kind of like card I was on the fence about. You can replace him with something for your own personal preference. 600 battle power for only 3, solid stats. He has a marginally useful ability in this deck. Other decks could definitely take advantage of him a lot better, but I wasn't really sure what to do for the 50th card in the deck. We're playing 4 copies of Tam Tam. This is kind of a backup to Mudman. If we don't get Mudman in our opening turn, then we'll get Tam Tam out there, hopefully, who is just a solid force generator, outputs 3 red force. And then finally, Tung Fu Rue, just a generic 1-coster with 400 battle power, 300 HP, these characters are just solid to have in any deck. Next up, we're playing Akuma, 3 copies of him. So with Akuma, he has to KO a character with 600 or more battle power. So if your opponent doesn't have any, you can use Ralf to power up their battle power, and then that puts them in range with Akuma. So there's kind of a nice combo there. We are playing 4 copies of Blodia. Next to Mudman, this is probably the other key part of the deck. He costs 5 and has 1000 battle power and 1000 HP. His drawback is that you have to discard all your action and counter cards when he enters the ring, but we're not playing a whole lot of those, so that's usually irrelevant. Next up for Hio, a very solid character with 600 battle power for 2, and if you pay 3 extra, he deals 3 damage, or 300 damage to both himself and an opposing character, so he can just straight up knock out one of your opponent's weaker characters. And then for Sean, who's basically just like Tung Fu Rue. And then next up, we are playing 4 Death Wishes. Those are the only action cards in the deck. You could replace Death Wish with, let's see if I can find it. What is it called? You could replace Death Wish with Magic Meds. I was a little on the fence about that. Magic Meds does cost a lot more, but you are getting 600 more battle power instead of 300. So there are some situations where Magic Meds could end the game maybe a turn earlier. But I went with the Death Wish instead because it's cheaper, a little more efficient, and I like its interaction with Akuma better. Just being able to pay 1 extra to give one of their characters, one of your opposing characters, a boost in battle power to maybe put them in range of Akuma. So that there is the deck. Let's go ahead and take it for a spin. And we'll probably get a few more games in than the last video, or I'll just maybe make it a little bit shorter. But let's go against, I don't know, Dose. And see how things go. Alright, we're gonna go first. Okay, this is an excellent starting hand. We have Mudman and 2 Blodia. So let's discard Akuma because we don't have much use for him. We don't really need Tung Fu Rue. And let's get out Mudman. This is almost the perfect starting hand. So we're gonna activate Mudman. Since we don't have any force left over, we get 10 red force, and now we can play 2 Blodia. If we weren't playing in battle mode, if we were doing the normal story, we would win on turn 2 because we have 2300 battle power on the field already on turn 1. Alright, let's just go ahead and get Oswald out there, just get even more threats into the ring, and we're gonna attack with everyone. Yeah, Blodia hits pretty hard. And Dose is already down to 700 HP on just the second turn of the game. He hasn't even had the opportunity to defend. And he only has 2 possible defenders. So at minimum, he's going to be taking 800 damage from Oswald. So this is going to be game over. Also, you notice we have a 5 force, so we could get another 10 from Mudman on this turn, even though it's not necessary. But yeah, Oswald is going to wrap things up, and there you go. Already 1 win in the books with this deck. We'll get our reward from beating Dose. Who else can we fight against? Let's do Trell. Alright, and they are going to let us go first again. Alright, no Mudman this turn. This is actually a fairly slow hand. So let's see, let's go ahead and get rid of him because he's not going to be terribly useful. But we are going to get Khushnood Butt, and we have a Death Wish, so we're going to be getting 7 power, or 700 unblockable damage. Which is, you know, kind of a backup plan. Okay, make that 1000 unblockable damage. But first, let's go ahead and just get Asura out there, and I'll go ahead and attack. So definitely not as explosive of a start this game, but still fairly solid, and you know, the AI isn't really doing a whole lot. There we go, there's a Mudman. So let's see here. Let's get a force from him. Let's activate Mudman. So I get 10 force. And we can go ahead and kill off that guy with Hio. And let's power on Khushnood Butt. So now he is unblockable and has 1000 attack power. And this game is going to be over pretty quickly here. So even here, we're doing a pretty good job of controlling the board. I was able to take down one of the opposing characters right off the bat with Hio's ability. And then Asura also, I could have just activated Asura beforehand to take out Fiona Belly. That may have actually been the better move. But alright, let's just finish it up with Khushnood. $1,300 damage, unblockable. I mean, they didn't have any defenders, but even if they did, they wouldn't have been able to do anything about that. Alright, we got a cat fight. Let's see. Let's go ahead and fight CEO Rip. I probably should have watched my first deck tech video to see which of these characters in battle mode I went up against to make sure I chose different ones, but hopefully I'm doing that. Okay, another hand without Mudman. So we'll just kind of get a normal start here. I think I'll go ahead and get Khushnood out there. Just to get more attack power early in the game. Alright, they have a decent start with, I think that's Leona? Yeah. Well, Tam Tam doesn't do a whole lot for me right now. Though maybe it would have been nice a turn ago. So let's go ahead and discard that so we can get Blodia out there. Still a fairly early Blodia. And let's get to attacking. One thing I think I would like to see, I don't know if I ever will, is what it would be like for this deck to face off against the combo deck I did in the first deck tech episode. I think it'd be really interesting. It'd basically be a race to see who could win first, or who could kind of get the strongest opening hand. Yeah, they left themselves completely open, so we'll just attack for the win. Yeah, Blodia is definitely one of the best characters in the whole game. Alright, there's another win. And who should we fight now? How about Terrest? And they're gonna let me go first again. Whoa, all 4 death wishes? Alright, this is a very strange starting hand. It doesn't seem particularly good. I may just see if I can activate Orochi Iori to wipe out all of their characters. So if I activate him for force, that gives me 7, 8, 9, 10, 11. Let's see what else they play. I'm just gonna end the turn here and see if they play something else that Orochi Iori will destroy, and then I won't have to discard. Okay, that he has a little bit too much HP. But Tress is now out of force altogether, and I can at least wipe out 2 of her characters with Orochi Iori. And then Akuma plus Death Wish will be able to take out the Metal Zangief. Although Akuma's going to take a little longer to play now. But I think that's okay. You know what, I might go ahead and just get Ralf out there. And I'll activate his ability too. There we go. That way we're getting 2 red force every turn instead of just the 1 from Orochi Iori. Oh, they're gonna restore some HP on Zangief. And we take 500. Alright, I think what I want to do, I'm going to generate some force with Orochi Iori. Let's get Oswald out there, and I'm going to attack. And we are in a much better spot. Not a very explosive start, but still a very effective one. Our opponent is not generating a whole lot of force, they only have 1 character out there, and we have a stronger board position, more force generation, and more cards in hand. So how much damage do I have? That's 14. Okay, this puts us over the top, I think. Just in case my math is wrong, I'll get Khushnood out there. Yep, and Oswald is going to have more than enough damage to seal the deal. Alright, let's get one more game out there. Alright, we got a Sakura. I'll fight against, I don't know, Max. The final boss of the campaign. Yeah, we'll go first. See if we can get another, like, really good hand here. Well, they have Tam Tam. That's not bad. So I'm gonna get Tam Tam out. And then I'm also gonna get Shinnosuke out there too. And this is going to be another turn 2 Blodia. I'll go ahead and play that since Blodia is going to make me discard it. Let's get Blodia out there. And then attack for 9. Yeah, we have a much stronger board presence than an opponent does, and I think we have enough. I think we have just enough damage to win on our next turn. I kind of wish I had gotten a game in where I got Haohmaru, although he's not really the primary game plan. But it's kind of neat when you can win with a 1500 to 1500 character. But yeah, that's the deck. It's just very efficient, playing very large characters to pummel your opponent and beat them as quickly as possible. It's a great deck for grinding the currency in the game to get more coins for buying more packs and unlocking more cards. If you play in the campaign where you start at 2000 HP instead of 3000, you can oftentimes win on turn 2 or 3 if you get the right hand, and it can make farming coins very efficient. So a good deck for that. Assuming you have Mudman and Blodia unlocked. Ooh, we got Phoenix Wright unlocked. I really like the Phoenix Wright card, and I will be featuring him in an upcoming deck. I just have to build it. But yeah, I think that was a pretty good showcase of what this deck can do. And hope you enjoyed. Stay tuned for more decks from SNK versus Capcom Card Fighters. I have a few more ideas, and I think I have pretty much everything unlocked that I need. So I think I said this before, but this time for real, the wait won't be as long between these deck tech videos. So yeah, thanks for watching. If you enjoy the content, feel free to subscribe, and have a good one.